From the Bronx, New York, comes the highly original and prolific hip-hop artist, Bloo Azul. Fresh off the release of his new album, Déjà Bloo, produced by Spanish Ran, Bloo Azul continues to raise the bar in hip-hop. His impressive discography includes standout albums like Sacre Bloo, Cordon Bleu, Blue Heria, MF Blue, and many more. In addition to his powerful catalog, Blue is also known for his striking music videos and visualizers, a true reflection of his cinematic creativity and his unique approach to the art form. He's also collaborated with heavyweight producers and MCs such as Sherman, Good Food, Brain Orchestra, Rashid Chappelle, and many more. Tune in to learn about his journey in music, his new album, Déjà Blue, and what he's got coming next at 4 o'clock LA, 7 o'clock New York. Let's bring him in.
Cristopolis.
Peace, my brother.
Peace, bro.
Honor.
What's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm good, my bro. I'm good. Yo, what a tremendous discography you have.
Oh, thank you, brother. I appreciate that for
You,
real. I appreciate you tapping in too. You know what I mean?
yeah, man. Yeah, it's one of those things where it's it's such a stylized work of art that you're creating that's beyond just single works of they're like dope albums, dope conceptual albums worked into like a legacy of creativity
Abs-
by an artist.
Absolutely. I mean, with me, since the era where I'm from, I try to keep the original recipe. You know what I mean? So at the same time, with that, I want to create longevity. So that's basically my main goals in these songs. You know what I mean? Even though you got the bars and everything that you expect, it still has a song mentality. You know what I mean? Other than just something with the hook and just some bullshit that sounds like a mixtape song. You know what I mean? So every
Yeah,
time I do a process, it's always trying to form into an embodiment or something. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. Uh the most recent work, Deja Blue, um, you and Spanish Red have been working for a minute now, right? Talk to us about Deja Blue, about the connection with Spanish Ran and this new project that you've released to the world.
Got you. I mean, me and Spanish Rand, that's my brother, first and foremost. It's like before the music, that's my boy first, you know what I mean? So with that relationship, the music was a lot more easier. We've always been in this music thing, doing it all the time for many years. But this one time we was like, you know what? Let's actually just crack it open and show the world what we're doing. You know what I mean? So yeah, we started making it happen, and from there, like we was able to create so many great projects like MF Blue, but Deja Blue is also part of like our end process because we do a lot of songs, and a lot of times we keep shit in the tuck. We'll have
Yeah,
things and be like, you know what, this is a fire song, but it's not for this specific like moment. You know what I mean? So let's hold it down.
yeah,
So that happens a lot with what we do. So we piece things together. Deja Blue was kind of that way, but we still had a theme process embodied in it. So it was kind of a mixture of both, like going over to the house, just brainstorming with each other, just kind of picking things. We always like themes, we're big theme fans. So yeah, like I'm a big fan of using blue into my titles, as you see.
it's
Everything
dope.
that I have is always
It's
gonna
so
have blue.
dope.
Thank you, bro. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So of course that put a play into it. So I was always like deja vu, deja blue, of course, only makes sense. And with Deja Blue, it was kind of a theme based on Walt Disney and Salvador Dali. I don't know if you're familiar with either or, but yeah, they a long time ago they had co-signed each other and they made a movie together called Destino. And
Yeah, so you
that
talk about that in the album, and then you
yes,
mentioned
yes,
Dolly in the album, and now that you're connecting the dots for me, I remember like deep in the archives of
yeah.
my brain, there's a Dolly Disney thing.
So it never came out originally. They had created it, but something happened. I think the war had happened or something, so they didn't create. They didn't put it out into theaters. And later, I think in the '80s, somebody had actually put it into like, you know what I mean, like out there into the movies. So you get some little here and there, but YouTube you find a lot of stuff which is cool. But that always intrigued us, just in general stuff like that. And I don't know why Deja Blue and Salvador Dali kind of just meshed well together. It just sounded very cohesive.
Yeah.
So yeah, we kind of went with that, and yeah, kind of like well, this one is more hidden themes. Like you said, you didn't really realize until I actually spoke about it. We kind of like threw little Easter eggs in there. You know what I mean? Not a lot of like into your face kind of thing. Unless you're
Yeah,
talking
it
about
makes
Handsome Dan. One of the songs I did in the chorus, I said Destino. I'm sure a lot of people didn't
that's
realize
the
what I was
joint. Yeah,
saying.
yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. But if you do the knowledge, you always find some shit. You know what I mean?
And
So
Dolly's so like I love that you're kind of tapping into Dolly because he's got that hip hop vibe. I've seen like these live performances that he's done where he's like almost like a graffiti artist,
oh
like
yeah.
painting right on the spot,
Yeah, he
and
was
they'll have like Yeah, and he'll have like a panther or like some cat. He's got like a cat on the stage, and
Yeah.
they've got like because he's Spanish, right? So they've got the span like flamenco, right? They've got like
Hmm.
the trovador, and they're like doing it live, and he's like doing a piece live, and some real hip hop shit, right? He's got
Yeah,
like the
yeah,
four elements
absolutely.
of his
Yeah,
universe.
he
But
would
Dolly
add
was really,
realism into it. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
realism.
Yeah, absolutely. He would use actual like people into the art as well too. I don't know if you ever seen those creations he made. He would like he would piece people together a certain like position, and then from far it would look like a skeleton or something. You know what I mean? He had this great like outer view of art that no one actually sees with like the just the normal eye. You know, which is really cool.
I haven't seen what you're talking about. I'm gonna go
Yeah,
look it up
yeah.
after this.
I feel like the Instagram's gonna algorithm you and show you shit probably after this
Yeah,
anyway.
the
So
cookies, right?
word for real.
Yeah, but what I do know that he's done is what he's done with photography,
Yes.
right? Where he's got like he'll catch these moments, like I don't know, like throw different things, like a cat jumping and water splat, all at the same time, and he catches like the image. Dolly
Yeah.
was next level.
No, absolutely. Yeah. Nobody at that time, nobody was doing things like that. You know what I mean? So it was great. And that's what I respect about things like that. Like people that think outside the box of things,
Yeah,
you don't always have to follow the main trail. You know what I mean?
yeah,
There's always a greater outlook of things. You know what I mean?
right.
And that's, I feel like, where I stand is music wise,
Yeah,
So
that's right. So like you got the bars, you're working with top-notch production, everything. You're from the birthplace of hip hop. You know what I'm
absolutely.
saying?
Hmm.
And but when a person like myself starts going really deeper into your artistry, the concepts, everything, your whole approach is very unique. It's very original and stylized. Let's talk a little bit about that. Some of the visual work that you've done, on Sacre Bloo and different things you've done. There's a painting theme. I know that you have a passion for drawing and painting
Yes,
also.
yes.
Can we talk? You talk
Yeah.
about that a little bit?
I mean, well, visually, when I add the things, I've always looked up to people like the Redmans, the De La Souls, like Lupe Fiasco's. There's a whole bunch of people that actually went creative on their visual aspect of things. You know what I mean? You always seen it, like even from the hood stuff to like real beautiful, creative looking things. That always inspired me to add that and portray it into what I'm doing. And I feel like a lot of people don't attack that. So that's why I'm happy the era I grew up in because it actually gave me a lot of knowledge to actually format the way I want to create and show people what I'm actually trying to spew out my brain. You know what I mean? So yeah, like visually, I just always try to incorporate something of my life into the visuals of things. And I'm not afraid to fucking be myself. You know what I mean? I know who I am. I'm very comfortable who I am, very confident person. You know what I mean? So I can be silly with confidence. You know what I mean? Which is fine. Like I don't know if you've seen the Mine video, that we did for Sacre Blue. Oh my God, it was amazing. We did that video. We went right into Washington Square Park. It's a park in New York City, super popular spot. You know what I mean? You probably see it in Instagram all the time. But just went there off the whim and we just started doing it. You know what I mean? But did it well and it blended great. People were with it and it created a great scenery for the video. You know what I mean? So it's great for the eye when people look at it. But yeah, I try to do different things like that for each visual, depending on the theme of the album, depending on the song maybe that we chose. Just that specific song. If it was a certain name, maybe I just might theme a video off that. Yeah, it's always based on the bar theme and myself personally, always incorporated into the visuals.
Yeah. Um, was drawing and painting, was that your first passion?
Yeah. Originally, I was like drawing comic stuff. Like that was my big thing at the time. Around my age, like what I mean, everybody loved to draw art, stuff like that. Especially with
Yeah.
comic books, you wanted to mimic that stuff all the time. So that was always my first outlook of stuff. Like yeah, the whole nine: crayons, coloring books, markers. I have a cousin. Actually, to this day, he's still incredibly great at artistry. Yeah, he was the man. He was the guy that we looked up to that was drawing insanely crazy that inspired us. So it was like, all right, cool. And my cousin as well. My older cousin. Um, yeah, he was a big inspiration and like that because he used to do graffiti in the streets and stuff like that. And I used to go with him, so that as well too incorporated into the painting and the street art of stuff. Yeah, but until rap happened, then rap just twisted everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, it connected in a dope
Yeah.
way. Yeah, I could tell, just from following you and how you dress and everything, the Marvel influence, the comic
Oh
influence, and the
yes,
shirts, and you know what I'm saying.
yes.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Like you always, there's a passion there. I think that Marvel movies, as dope as they are and as cool as they are, the I grew up on the comic books. You know, and
Man,
I feel that the movies, the next generation, most of the kids aren't experiencing the Jim Lees and the Todd McFarlanes, you know, all that
yeah.
era of incredible artwork. But then there's the graffiti aspect that hip hop brings to it. You know what I mean? Did you ever do graffiti?
Oh yeah, I did. Absolutely. My tag
Did you
used to
have like
be,
a tag name?
yeah, it used to be Fen. Fen. Fen.
That's
That's what it used to
dope.
be. Yeah, yeah. When I used to go with my cousin, his is Narc, Narc. He was actually super popular in the Bronx. Like if people know
Yeah,
graffiti in the Bronx, they know of Narc, which is super dope. But yeah, pretty much with that, and then it switched to Blue after people gave me that name. Actually, originally it was Blue, but there's a popular Blue that used to do graffiti in the Bronx, Castle Hill.
yeah,
His name was Blue Blue. My cousin was really good friends with him. I was friends with him as well. So when they started calling me Blue, I kind of respected that
right.
fact, and I changed it to OO at the time. Yeah,
Got it.
graffiti wise. Yeah.
So Blue, like your artist name started as your graffiti name.
Like, yeah, graffiti slash nickname. That's what people were calling me. So, and it wasn't Fen no more. Fen was more like really underground shit. Like if people were doing graffiti, I wasn't out there on the block having people calling me Fen and shit. It was more like
Yeah,
it started to be Blue. Just happened to be Blue after a while. Like 10 years
that's
old.
dope.
Yeah,
And then
yeah,
when you
yeah.
started recording, then is that when you added the Blue Azul?
Yeah, you know what? When we really started taking it serious, around like 2018, 2019, like we're really about to let this happen.
Yeah,
I mean, I had my name originally as just Blue, but there's
yeah,
so many, you know, other blues out there and people that do blue stuff as well too. All
right.
respect to that. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to just stick out a little bit, pause on that, it
Yeah,
mattered. Like, all right, you know what? And I always love the two times the name, you know what I mean? Like the dot dot dot, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. So I felt like Blue Azul was just very witty.
yeah.
People laugh when they actually think like, oh, it's blue blue, But I've always had Spanish people that call me Azul
That's
all the time. Hey,
dope.
Azul, da da da. So like it meshed well. I was like, you know what, Blue Azul for both aspects, and it
That's
blends
dope.
well. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Yeah.
Well, and then the way you spell blue is so original. You know what I mean? That
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
it, it helps to connect it.
Nah,
It helps to connect it.
absolutely.
That's
It was
dope.
weird at first though. Some people would think it's a blow, or I'm like, yo, I'm like, man, people don't know fucking language, but I don't know. It's fucking weird, man. Yeah,
That's dope.
yeah.
So the new album Déjà Blue, available on all streaming platforms, produced by Spanish Rand.
Yes,
Now
sir.
we talked about the dope creative relationship that you have with Spanish Rand. You've done more projects with him, right? Let's talk about the work, because you've worked there's some core people that you've worked with, right?
Yeah,
Spanish Rand, Sherman, uh, but I want to unpack the Spanish Ram because you guys have such a dope chemistry. But you have a sound, right? You have a sound that is not only like, how do I put it? Like Spanish Ram production with you is one thing, and then when he works with other artists, it's a bit different, right?
yeah,
So it's almost like you're developing a sound, because I find that the work that you do with Spanish Rand and the work that you do with Sherman, even though they're different producers and they sound different, they're original in their own right. You can
yeah,
still tell that it's Blue Azul, right? Between
yeah.
albums.
Hmm.
Talk to us about that, kind of like how you select beats, how they know like it's a blue type beat, if you
Yeah,
know what I
yeah.
mean.
I would say MF Blue kind of like sparked that up
Yeah,
as like where like my sound was gonna be heading, even though I didn't know it at the moment. But I've always been a fan of like soulish jazz type beats, always
yeah,
in general. Even sometimes darker, you know what I mean? But even though I'm from a Styles P, Locks, Cannabis, DMX era, I've always loved that soulless vibe though. It's always hit me.
yeah,
Something just resonated perfectly for that. So
yeah,
that's why I kind of try to incorporate both like the hard with like the soul jazz, a little meshed together. Um After I started doing that, I realized, you know what, this route of beat selections I enjoy. So I specifically try to find that route until I
yeah,
got to a point where people started realizing, all right, this is what he enjoys. So then when I would talk to different producers and be like, yo, I got a pack for you, da da da, if you want to check this out. And people would be good. You know what I mean? I mean, people are really focused. I'm not a big pack guy. Let me reiterate. I don't be taking packs from random people and stuff like that. I really have to build a relationship or something with you to make that happen. But the people I do, yeah, they'll send me something. They already know the kind of vibe I'm looking for, but in their own way of how
yeah,
they make beats. You know what I mean? Which is great. So yeah, it resonates with me well, and I love that. So yeah, I just realized I want to stick with that path of things, even though I like to get busy on a harder drum Griselda type. You know what I mean? I don't mind that at all because I get busy. I'm a chameleon. I'm everywhere. You know what I mean? I can move. Um, but yeah, I like more that selection and staying with that route of beats and producers. Yeah, they've been responding well with it and realizing that I'm creating the sound. Yeah.
Yeah, talk to us a bit about that because it's really like a dope experience to listen to your catalog because it all flows together in a way where like I could tell it's the same artist, it's the vibe. You could just put it on.
Yeah.
And it's like your voice, the bars over that like soul, you know what I'm saying? It's
Yes.
just that
Yes.
shit just works really well, right?
Appreciate
But
your work.
I know you got some other stuff out there for your albums, for I guess your discography. I guess what I'm trying to ask is that other like harder, different style? Is it somewhere else? Do you record it? Is it out there? Is it on featurings?
Mm.
Is it what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like
Yeah.
where do how do you go about it? It's interesting. It's a very interesting approach that's really dope.
So you mean as in like me switching over like on the style wise,
Yeah,
like oh I'm gonna go on a harder beat or most of the times I realize now it's been more on features
yeah,
because album wise I don't want to do too much of that.
yeah,
Again, that goes back to me saying I don't want things to sound like a mixtape and all this. You know what I mean?
yeah,
I'm trying to embody something where it's long lasting. And you
yeah,
can make it a gem, magnificent. You know what I mean? Like a fucking diamond. I'm trying to make that happen. I'm not
yeah,
trying to just do to do. So yeah, but those features and those hard drum things is showing you that I still get busy. You know what I mean? Like regardless, so that's where you'll find most of those. A lot of like features. There's a couple Lucy's that you'll find from Rand because when me and Rand started off, you listen to me in early Rand, there was some hard, crazy stuff too. Absolutely.
yeah,
That's all we knew. That's all we knew at the time. It was me finding my way that then I realized I wanted that. But yeah, originally it was always hard drum, grindy type shit. And yeah, so now I keep that away from the albums and make my album specifically how I want to do it. And those hard features and those other type, I'll put them on features. You know what I mean? Just to show you I get busy still. You know what I mean? Like I said. Yeah.
yeah. I completely understand what you're saying. I really appreciate you breaking it down. I think what's so dope about the style that you're building for your albums is that sound is timeless,
Mm,
right? Because it's already based on. It's almost like when you watch a movie and the movie's like an era, like it's from another era.
yeah.
It's timeless even if you watch it 30 years from now because it was already made like in the past. You know what I mean?
Yes, yes, exactly.
Right, right,
Yeah.
right. Whereas
It's yeah. I'm sorry, go ahead. My fault, go ahead.
no, well, I was just gonna say like when you have something like the Locks and DMX and those types of cats, that shit's dope too, but it's an era.
Mhm.
Whereas what you're creating is more timeless.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And of course people like Doom play a role. Even I pay homage to Doom like that. He's a perfect example because he was his own lone warrior, he was his own lone soldier doing his own missions, his own side missions, like and I respect that to the fullest. Look at the impact he has now, just you know what I mean? He's a god now. You know what I mean? Like you think that before. And not saying my goal is to be a god, but I don't realize maybe the impact I'm having on the journey that I'm on right now until later or until I die or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm on it now and focused. So yeah, it's for a reason. You know what I mean? But yeah.
I think that it's really dope to think like that because
Mhm.
you know it's all respect to MF Doom and rest in peace. You know what I'm saying? But
Absolutely.
I feel that he's had maybe more of an impact after he's passed.
Oh, of course,
He
definitely.
was he Yeah, right, because he was a big artist, and then when you really get into like KMD and earlier before MF Doom, I
Of
mean
course.
he's hip hop, right? He's hip hop, third bass, all of that.
Yeah.
But non hip hop people love Doom. You know what
Yes.
I'm saying?
Yes.
Non hip hop
Yes.
people got, what I'm
Yeah.
saying, got the face, the mask. I mean,
Yes.
the impact is
Yes. So it almost got gentrified. You know what I mean? In a way. You know what I mean? Sadly. You know what I mean? But you're absolutely right because even someone like me, as much as I did listen to Doom, I wasn't on Doom at the times when I was on the Nas's and the Styles P, and I was heavy on that. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't going back to that. I was aware, but I wasn't as. But like you said, it's true. A lot of non hip hop are more focused towards it. Yeah.
and it's something about somebody like him that had like this vision and created this whole aura. It's like an aura. It's beyond a human,
Yeah.
right? It's an image, it's a mask, it's a cartoon. It's
Hmm.
He did all of that that it almost like gets bigger with time,
Yeah.
and in a sense you're creating a sound,
Yes.
right? And the wordplay with the name and the album, it's really dope, bro, what
Yeah.
you're doing.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate that for real.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm really trying to make something powerful here.
You
The
are.
whole church in general, man. You know what I mean? We're a
Yeah,
strong
talk to
fucking
me
force,
about talk
man.
to me because I see the church popping up. I see it on MF Blue. I see it
Yeah.
like
No, no,
on the cover of the new album. And it's what is the church for? If you could share
no,
with people.
absolutely. The church is us. The church is the friendship. The church is the brotherhood. Church is the conglomerate of us. It's not a group or anything like that. It's just basically a collective. You know, we all know each other, grew up with each other, Bronx, da da da, family wise, everything. You know what I mean? And we do music beautifully and powerful. So we join forces without having to join forces. It's nothing forced. We've already been who we are. So yeah, it's a similar. I don't want to point other names, but like pro era kind of vibe. You know what I mean? Something of that. You know what I mean? It's the church. That's always what you're gonna hear symbolized, and it could just mean so many things. You know what I mean? Again, but one thing is not. It's a group.
Yeah,
It's just straight up a full collective of brotherhood and people that are looking for longevity
that's
in this
dope.
game. Yeah, man.
That's dope. So in addition to yourself, and I know that this is always hard because you don't want to leave people
No,
out,
no.
but for people to know, like
Yeah.
for
No,
us to
for the
capture it.
strong stroke, you got it's me, Blue Azul, Spanish Rand. You got Aldo. You got Tree Mason, right? And then you have my man Tom. You got my man Biz. You got my man Inf. You got it's a whole bunch of us. You know what I mean? My man Black. But the forefront you see all the time is always me, Rand, Doe, Tree. You know what I mean? That's where the faces of what's going on right now.
That's dope. That's
Yeah,
dope.
yeah, man.
Concentrated in the Bronx.
Yes. All in the Bronx.
That's
We
dope.
originally used to record here, where I'm at in my apartment. This used to be the church-like studio here. And then we moved it to Rand's new apartment. Yeah, yeah. It's
That's
a much
dope.
bigger space. So, yeah, man.
That's dope. Now the Bronx is big. Is there like an area in the Bronx?
Where, specifically where I'm from, or what do you mean, or where we do it? It's
Yeah, yeah,
around.
just kind of like where y'all are from.
I
Because
would
Bronx
say,
is big.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I would say it's more going towards Fordham area, around that area. Like, if you want to put it in a broad aspect, yeah, around Fordham-ish area. Pretty much. Where I'm at, I'm around Pelham Parkway area. So again, yeah. So
That's
pretty
dope.
much.
That's dope.
Yeah. Are you familiar with New York or?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. So I'm
okay, okay,
originally
got
from
you.
the East Coast. Yeah, I'm
Oh,
in,
got
I'm
you.
in
Okay,
LA. I've been in
bet.
LA,
Got
but
you.
I'm
Okay,
from DC and so when you're in DC, you head up to New York.
got you.
Yeah, yeah. So I've been to New York many times. Cousins in Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? Like
Okay.
that whole thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I haven't been out there in a minute. It's far. It's you
Nah,
once you
I
make it
get
out
you,
to LA. You know what I'm saying? You
bro.
stay out
Yo,
here.
people who are in Brooklyn are talking about as far, so you ain't the only one. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, we really be trooping. You know what I mean? Us Bronx dude, because a lot of everything happens in
Yeah,
Brooklyn. A lot of the
yeah,
shows, events, this, that. Brooklyn does a lot. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So we hook all the way over there, bro. It's crazy. You know what I mean? But they
yeah.
look at over here like Mars.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Because you got to go like through Manhattan, right? So it's
pretty
like
much, yeah, 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 yeah. Pretty much, yeah.
that's
It's crazy, man.
dope. That's
Yeah.
dope. My bro, you're so prolific, right? The new album Déjà Blue's out, incredible project. But there's another really dope project that you just released not that long ago, which is the Sacre Bloo. Can we
Yes,
unpack
sir.
that joint a little bit? Because
Oh,
that joint's incredible
yeah.
too, with Sherman.
Yes. Well, it goes back again to me doing the blue stuff. Like I like to do the titles. And so when me and Sherman first joined, uh, we boys joined forces with Blue Heria. I'm sorry, I almost forgot the name. Blue Heria.
Which
That
is
was
a
up.
dope name.
Thank you.
I'm looking at the like album names. I'm like,
Yeah.
yo, they're
Hmm.
so creative.
Yeah. So we wanted to continue that run or whatever. So yeah, we started bouncing off ideas, and I was like, yo, not for nothing, Sacre Bloo. It keeps ringing in my head. So yeah, that one we actually really projected a big theme for it. Like you can tell it's very French theme, croissant, this, everything.
Right, that
But the
Ironically,
actual the disc has like the cake
yes,
on it,
yeah,
got
yeah.
like get the croissant, like it's dope.
Yeah, man. So that was great about that. I mean, even in a lot of the bars you can hear, I even talk like French ass, like examples or samples of things because we actually try to make a theme out of this. We had an idea already, which was pretty cool, because a lot of the times I'm already just making shit, just making it, and then we'll puzzle it together. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Taz specifically just focusing. All right, I'm gonna talk about da 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 here, So yeah, that's what was so great about that album. We wanted it to sound nothing like the original one we did, but still with Sherman's vibe. And like Sherman, he has a sound, you know what I mean, which is so dope. You know what I mean? And I love his. He's almost like a Spanish rain. He able to use different people, different artists, depending on who they are. He'll give them a certain kind of beat or whatever. So he'll give me certain ones. He knows I love like weird type beats. The weirder the better. I love a challenge. You know what I mean? I love beats with challenges because sometimes rhyming gets boring. That's why I try to get very like
yeah.
creative. So yeah. So if you notice a lot of the beat selections he gave me, it's very like I can get very versatile on it. And yeah. So that's how like it all formatted out. And yeah, we had our guy on White Hennessy mix and master the whole project, and if you're familiar with Dwayne Plains, our artist, he did the cover, and boom, yeah, man,
Oh
yeah,
wow!
yeah. Dwayne Plains is the one who made most of my artwork. If you've seen the MF Blue, the Danger Blues, all those, yeah.
What
But
a what a
he's amazing.
talented
He's
guy.
amazing. Yeah, crazy. But
Wow.
yeah, and so yeah, we just made it happen, pretty much.
So you kind of expressed something there that maybe we can unpack it a bit because it kind of
Okay.
starts to go deeper into your creative process. You were talking about, you start to get ideas, you start putting it together,
Hmm.
even before you have the
Yeah.
songs, right? And if you because it's a concept album, right?
Yeah.
So you got the concept album, it's gonna be Sacre Blue, very French themes. I don't want to butcher it, but there's like I was listening to it and you're like, it's not a this is the second one, but it's not a sequel. Like
Oh
you had
yeah,
like the dope
yeah. To
word,
say the
like
sequel out. Yeah,
like
yeah,
it's
yeah,
so
yeah,
dope. You know what
yeah.
I'm talking about?
Yep, yep.
And the croissants, and then the video, the croissants, and everything was really really dope. The when you if you take us into the making of the album of the songs, right? What's that creative process like for you? Like, how do you put together a song? How does that work into putting together an album? Since you're already working on the concept and ideas before the songs.
Yeah. Um. So with Sherman, we didn't do any. It was everything through online. I know him as a friend already. You know what I mean? That's my guy. I see him even when we're not doing music. But most of this was done in my house. You know what I mean? I just had the beats and I recorded from there. Most of my times is like that. You know what I mean? I'll have the beat and I write really fast. So once I get into a feel of things, I just write insanely quick. And then I have a studio here, obviously, and then I'll record here, and then I'll just send it out. So that's most of the process. You know what I mean? It's just him sending the beats. Yo, you fuck with this? Yeah, I fuck with this. I'll do it here really quick. I'll send him a reference. Yo, that's fire. Da da da. Yo, let's you want to chop this? All right, let's add that. Yo, skit this. And yeah, it just all formatted well. Again, I have a great relationship with Sherman, so it's easy to work with him too. A lot of the people that I've done albums with, I have good relationships and work very well, man. So it helps a lot. You know what I mean? Because there's headaches a lot, man. And I'm super grateful that I'm able to avoid a lot of that shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, man. Like I said, most of the shit was straight him sending me. I did it. He fucked with it. Boom, cool. Because with this one, like I said already, I specifically thought about a concept. So when I would write things, which made it even easier. I'm like, all right, we're gonna talk French stuff or this. I could add this and that. Rhyme is secondary for me. You know what I mean? So that was easy. So no problem.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and there you're sharing with us that like that you write quickly, you put songs together quickly, right? If you
Yeah.
could take us into that process, what are you writing on your phone, on a
Yeah.
computer, on pen and pad? Are you rapping to the beat? Are you writing it and recording it as you do it? Like how does it all start to come together?
So I've been doing phone. I want to kind of go back to pen and paper. There's something about that that's just like it's almost tree rooted. You know what I mean? Maybe like something where you're just in tune with the earth. I feel like if you do it on pen and paper, it's like a lot more better. But um, yeah, I'll put on a beat, let it rock, listen to it. Words come quickly. If I'm thinking of a flow for the song, a lot of times I do I don't know if you ever seen like Kanye when he does like the he
Yeah,
won't
like
even be saying
scatting.
actual words,
Yeah.
but like he's
Like a
thinking of some kind
melody.
of
Like you get the
yes,
pattern.
exactly. So a lot of times my mind goes that way because I'm big on freestyling too. That's
Yeah.
I grew up everybody freestyle rhyming off the head. So that's what I think helps with me when I'm doing these rhymes because I could already just without having to put it on paper or pen rhyme. So yeah, I do that, listen to it, boom, 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 write it down. Sometimes I can finish a rhyme in freaking 15, 20 minutes, boom, no problem. Sometimes it might take an hour.
Yeah.
Sometimes I might have one that I'll leave it and I'll go back to later.
Yeah.
For some reason, it just didn't make sense then, but later on it did. Like, yo, you know what? I fuck with it now. There's some beats like that too that
Yeah.
that that happen with me. Like I'll fuck with the beat, but it just won't hit me right away. Something's
Right.
just like, no. But then like a week later, I'll go back to it and fucking everything's flying, like holy shit. So yeah, I would say that's pretty much my answer. But more or less, very quickly on how I move. You can ask anybody who's
That's
done
amazing.
features or paid for features, this and that. I always move very quickly on how I do. I think this, even though I like to have fun with this, it's also very serious. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That's
But
dope. That's dope. Thank you for taking this behind the curtain.
nah, absolutely, of course, man.
Yeah.
happy to
When
tell.
when you work on a project, right? So like, you just released Déjà Blue's, been out for about a month now. Um uh Sacre Bloo was earlier this year.
Yeah.
When you're working on projects, are you like are you kind of like locked in on that project? Like right now you're working with Sherman, right now you're working with Spanish Ran, or are you just kind of like you've got different things happening and like where you're just kind of like moving around with whatever is inspiring you at the moment in regards to the different projects?
So now I would say I'm doing that where I'm setting up like different projects and having them lined up and stuff like that. See, I've always been a fan of more like the quality and not quantity thing.
Yeah,
Always been a big fan of that. You know what I mean? I didn't want to overproduce and just keep putting out a lot of stuff and just people just like, all right, you know what I mean? That's me specifically. But in this era that we're in now, people want more. You know what I
yeah,
mean? I could
yeah.
drop something couple 3 weeks to month later. What's next? And that
Right.
shit baffles me. You know what I mean? I'm like, fuck, man. You know what I mean? So me being how I
Well,
am, you know what I mean? Because
there's a lot of artists that are like
yes,
actually feeding. They're
yes,
feeding the people. So if you're not, you know what I'm
yes.
saying? Like,
Yeah, I know, but again, I'm from where you would give some quality, just rest on this and chill and live on it. You know what I mean? But no, people want to live on a couple things. You know what I mean? So I'm like, all right, cool, which is not a problem. So I mean, if you see I started 2020, my breakout of more of everything, but it was like
yeah,
three
yeah.
albums a year.
MF
Yeah,
Blues,
like
right? It's kind of like that.
like it was so like 2, 3 albums a year. You know what I mean? I did the most, and even for me, I was like, damn, what the fuck? I'm doing too much. That was my mentality. But yeah, now I'm a lot more different, and since I know I could work fast, creating art, but like beautifully, not like rushing things, I can still do it even though I'm doing it quickly.
Yeah,
Fuck it, why not? I'll keep producing, but I'll still do it in my own timely fashion. I'm not gonna drop every 2 weeks or do some shit like that, but I am doing more. So yeah, so now I've been like taking projects and I have here, all right, finish a project here, have it set, ready to go. I'm trying to have everything finalized even before I start, making it happen. Like cover, album, done this. Are we doing merch? Are we physicals? This, that. I'm trying to have everything locked in for each specific project I'm doing before we even do a release now. Because it matters more.
yeah,
And again, that's what the people want, man. People want all that. And I'm happy that it's a time that people want physicals now, even if it's just for collecting. I'm not listening to it or listening. So yeah, that makes me excited. So yeah, so now I've been trying to do that with each project and set them up, align them perfectly. But
yeah,
one thing I won't
yeah,
say is what projects. I'm not a big fan of kissing and telling.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
The in regards to like the as a independent artist, like
mm,
truly doing this, right? Multiple projects with very high level producers on playlists. uh Different DJs are picking it up on different shows like this, the video work, everything that you're doing, the true grind, right? Like you're out
yeah,
there, you're in the thick of it right now. What can you share with other like artists, the seeing artists like you, they
yeah.
want to be where Bloo Azul is, right? They're like, this cat's doing it. This is my goal. in regards to that, like, what is actually working for you really well in regards to the merch, in regards to like those that economic aspect of it, right?
Yeah.
What's moving and maybe what not as much that
Well,
you're learning as you're going. You're like, okay, you know, this is working, this isn't.
well, I had to create my name first before any
Yeah,
of that came. Because nobody's buying nothing if they don't even know who the fuck I'm about. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
that's first and foremost. So once I, like created myself, of course, like the merchant stuff came easier. But honestly, I would just say to be your fucking self.
yeah,
Like I'm making people come to me. I'm not
yeah,
I'm not doing the normals of what people are doing and this, that to gravitate towards a crowd. I'm having a fucking great time right now. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So I'm making you come to the party. You know what I mean? Yo, whoa, what's going on over here? You know what I mean? Oh shit. All right, there's a whole vibe over here. There's a whole da da da. Like I get into the rabbit hole, which I love. So
yeah,
I've gotten that by just continuing to be me. Like I didn't switch up, change. You hear my music, you talk to me as a person. I'm as real as it has to be. You know what I mean? I'm me. Regardless. Could be from me talking about some wild shit or me taking a shit. Either way, like it's me. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't
right,
matter. So I would always say just to be exactly who you are and stick to that. Don't try to portray who you think another image is supposed to be, in that matter. You need to stick to exactly who you are, and like your inside circle fucks with you.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like those people that really tell you how it is, like, yo, da da da, yeah. Keep that and show that to the world. You know what I mean? Because people love that. Similar to like a comedian, he tells a joke. He's a funny guy, he tells a joke, the joke is trash. But then when he starts talking normally, he's cracking people up. You know what I mean? Like is because he's being himself regular. So yeah, that's exactly what I would say, and that's what took me to get where I'm at now. And merch wise and everything wise, when you start gaining yourself as a person, people gravitate towards that. Again, we're in the physical merch era where people love obtaining collections, da da da. So yeah, I've managed to put myself in a good position that, especially with after Copenhagen's when I did them at Blue vinyl.
yeah,
That alone help, what I mean, solidify me more. So like anybody that's trying to venture and trying to like get into all that, you just have to keep grinding and people will notice. I promise you, bro. I'm still on my journey. You know what I mean? I'm talking like I'm not yet, bro. I'm still moving. You know what I mean? Still moving. And I
yeah,
love it where I'm at. I'm realizing the process and I'm enjoying it at the moment. To
yeah,
as where I'm like, I gotta work, and then not realizing all this fun I realized I didn't have behind me already. So
yeah.
yeah,
That's
man.
so dope. That's dope. It
Yeah.
must feel incredible, like to like as these albums come out and the physicals come out, having your own collection of your own
Yes.
physicals. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? That
Yeah,
you
bro.
release, all right?
Bro, absolutely. Yo, bro, as a kid, I was a big Marvel fan, like Marvel cards, holograms.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like I was a huge fan, bro. Now fucking Bars is
yeah,
making hologram tapes. You know what I mean? Bro, this is the kid in me. Like, are you fucking kidding me, bro? This is amazing. Amazing. You know what I mean? So
that's
that's what I'm
dope.
saying. I'm having a great time regardless. Of course, I'm for the people and I do what I do because I have an opinion. I express myself. That's what it is. But you're gonna gravitate towards me at the end of the day. That's what's gonna happen. I'm not trying to reel you in, bro. You're gonna come to me. You're gonna gravitate towards me because you want to see what the fuck I got going on here. Why are you having a good time by yourself over here? You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So
that's dope.
again, similar to a dude,
That's dope.
own venture. You know what I mean? He did his own thing. You know what I mean? Like just in that
Yeah,
matter, just for people to understand what I'm saying.
yeah. That's good, bro.
Yeah, man.
The visuals, that you've created are really original and really dope. Where do you take some of your influences from? Like with the visuals. Are you working with like just really dope people, right? Are you coming with the idea of like, I'm gonna be painting, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? And then it's gonna be
yeah,
kind of comedic when I show it. And
yeah,
I'm sitting at home like showing this to my wife, you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
What you're
yeah,
doing is so engaging, right?
yeah,
Take us behind the scene of your creativity in that aspect of the art, which is the cinematic aspect
yeah.
of it.
That goes back to the songs. Like for example, the painting one. I think I that came off the first couple lines I said. Visuals in my brain, creating the madness or whatever. Uh, just from that line alone, I was like, yo, I could picture me like painting for some reason. Like I just be coming up with random shit. I really do. You know what I mean? And I'm very confident that it'll work. So I think I spew that out there enough where people are like, yeah, you know what? I actually do fuck with this. You know what I mean? So, yeah, a lot of times just silly ideas that end up we just taking very serious and putting to life. Yeah, like the mime. Like we thought about Sacre Bloo, of course, you know, Paris, this, that. And I was like, yo, it would be so funny if I dressed up as a fucking mime in the city. And so and we smoked and laughed about that shit, like, yo, that's hilarious. It was like, yo, let's do it. All right, cool, bet. Bought this shit from
That show
Amazon,
is
da da
so
da.
dope. It is
Bro,
so incredibly engaging.
bro, thank you, bro. Yeah, bro, yeah. We did it on the spot in the park. I was getting dressed, putting makeup on, bro. I never done this in my life, you know? I had YouTube some mime shit before. But after I did it, my boys was like, yo, bro, you kind of did that fucking very good, man.
Yeah,
Like, yo, you could have probably put a bucket out and made some money doing that
could have
shit.
killed it.
You know? Word. So yeah, I'm heavy too into like movie stuff. I love like acting wise too. I'm always big on that. Like you people that know me, they know I love that type shit. So I like to get in my acting bag. So it's kind of like I'm tackling two things, like my music, and I can do a little acting here. You know what I mean? In the meantime, to show y'all within my music, you know, but
Yeah,
satisfying myself because that's what I like to do. You know.
yeah,
So yeah, each visual just it goes towards the song. Yeah, I got so much shit I forget what I have, but yeah, man, you know, I just don't want to be rapping in front of a bodega fucking every time. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to see the
yeah,
same visuals all the time. People do the same thing, same this, that. I just want you to just have a different look, like, oh shit, this is different. You know what I mean?
yeah. That's dope.
Word, man. A vibe.
It really is. Your whole your
Yeah.
music and everything, the universe you're creating is a whole vibe.
Thank you,
It's
bro.
really dope. The are there any, outside of hip hop, because there's a heavy art component in your music,
Mm.
are there any artists like painters or people like sculptors and that type of art that are an influence on you that you like?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, of course, there's the Banksies. You know, I don't know if you ever heard of an artist called Jerkface.
No.
He actually has an exhibit in L.A. I think going on as we speak right now. He's really talented. Uh,
Oh, dope. Is
yeah,
it like
yeah,
in
yeah.
the modern, in the mocha?
I'm not too sure. I'm not sure the area where he's at. I just seen on Instagram he was promoting something, but I think it was in LA. But yeah, yeah, yeah. A lot of like newer artists. I like Ron English. I'm a big fan of that. Like I like psychedelic weird type vibes. You know what I mean? Of art. Takashi Murakami. I'm a fan of that. You've probably seen him before, like the flower guy. He does the different flowers, the different colors and stuff like that.
Yep.
Um, yeah, I'm a big fan of that. Yeah, I would say that's pretty much right now the lane I would go to. I'm not a big fan of Banksy no more because I feel like he got very generalized and popularized and gentrified and shit. So I'm just like, it's cool. But
Yeah. But he was really, really super innovative and cutting edge, especially
yes,
early on. Like, have you
oh
seen
yes,
Exit Through the Gift Shop?
yes,
Right,
yeah, yeah, yeah. I
right.
I
And
was I was trying to go to that Disneyland that he did in the UK at that time. He did the Disney World, but his version crazy,
oh, I
crazy.
haven't seen
Yeah,
that.
yeah. It was open for like a couple months, and yeah, nuts.
Yeah, and he's got another joint that I don't remember what the name is, but it's like this whole movie. It's like a documentary where they're looking for like gold and everything,
Mm.
and they go underwater, and then at the end you find out that the whole thing was like a mockumentary, but you believe it the whole way through, and it was a Banksy production. He's a really
Yeah,
dope
yeah, yeah.
individual,
Yes, yeah, yeah, yeah.
but
Yeah,
he's gotten really big too, right?
no,
So
no,
he
of
kind
course,
of
yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah, of course, yeah. It's just more, what it is now, but yeah,
yeah,
but
that's
no,
dope.
and I'm a fan of Generation Now. Like I'm a fan of the artist I did with Dwayne Plains, my boy. You know what I mean? I'm a fan of Lord and NMF. You know what I mean? I'm a fan of like a lot of people that are doing their thing right now in this world. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That are painting incredibly. You know what I mean? So
that's
it's great,
dope.
man.
That's dope.
Word.
I know that the new album Déjà Blue just came out, like a month ago, but you're so prolific. I'm sure you got some stuff in the tuck. Is there anything coming up that you want to share with people that is coming in 2025 or 2026?
I'm gonna be perfectly honest. I'm not a big fan of really telling what I got coming out. I feel like it kind of like I feel like you're telling somebody surprise before the
Before
surprise happened.
the surprise.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So I feel like you're kind of you're giving away all that momentum. So I'm not a big fan of just like yo I got this and da 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 da. Again, that's my opinion. It's how I like doing things. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
mean I guess one thing I could say just in general is that me and Rav are not stopping on what we're doing because me and him
So,
created two great projects called 83 and 83
yeah.
2, and me and him, we just pair so well together that
Yeah,
that brotherhood's not going to stop. Like we're always going to continue to make music. So I would say look out for something between me and him. Definitely. I got some other stuff going on too, but again,
that's
I
good.
don't really want to say.
I respect that.
But I like
Yeah.
I told
No,
you, the whole fact of me working more now, you know what I mean, than as prior I was before. You're going to be seeing what I'm speaking to existence soon. So you know what I mean, like. So I'll be moving, and
that's
you'll
absolutely.
see soon.
Yeah, that's absolutely understandable. I love that. I love. Um, I think that there is something, and I've noticed it in my own, goals in
Mm,
life, that there is something to losing momentum when
mm,
you talk about things before they're done. You
yes.
know,
Hmm.
right? So like you gotta kind of like really like sometimes things change,
Yeah.
ideas change. That
Of,
you have to let them,
absolutely, they change,
right?
man. Yeah.
They evolve before. So if you're kind of like showing things before they're ready, you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
in a
Yeah.
weird way,
Yeah.
you know.
You know, like Da 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 album coming out December 9th. You're like, all right, damn. I guess if I remember, I guess I'll look forward to it. You know what I mean? Like, like, yeah, nah, I'm cool, man.
In
I'll
regards to
show.
the church,
Yeah.
as a collective,
Yes.
is there are there thoughts of doing a church project? Is there, because you guys basically are as individuals
Yeah.
and collaborating together, right? Is the church going to be doing anything like that?
I mean, I don't see why not in the near future why that wouldn't happen. Um, that would start from Spanish Rand in general because he would be the forefront in that to start that whole thing. Obviously, as the producer and just in itself.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's just we all got lives too. You know what I mean? To all put us together in a room sometimes it gets a little tough. You know what I mean? So it holds out on that kind of thing. But yeah, man, I don't see why not, but I don't know when. But I don't doubt it happening. You know what I mean? It
That's
could it
dope.
could definitely it could definitely go down.
That's
No doubt about it.
dope. Now you've got like some upcoming performances also. Can you talk to us about what like a Blue Azul show is like?
So a show with me would depend. Like since I'm so versatile with what I do, like where I either want to give you like hardcore craziness or like a dope vibe on something. I'm always dependent on the venue I'm dealing with. I did my most recent venue. I did that was more like the ain't no love kind of vibe. You know what I mean? Very like soul melodic vibes where people want to listen. I did another show recently too. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Thousand Words.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
coordinates. Yeah, he coordinates a lot of really dope events. Great dude. That's my guy. But a lot of his shows are very grimy, hardcore. And since I could go pound for pound with the best, I switch over. You know what I mean? So now you might get a grimy blue, which actually we've been calling now Magneto Blue. So
Yeah,
you get
yeah, because I see
Magneto
the
Blue.
Magneto.
Yeah,
I've been
yeah,
seeing the
yeah, yeah.
Magneto show up,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So you get back. I mean, even if it doesn't have the mask on, if I'm on Magneto Blue mode, you already know. All right,
Yo,
he's on some
Grimy
shit
Blue
today. You know
is
what I mean?
dope too.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
That's what I'm
second
saying. No,
dope.
of
That's
course, I don't
second
show it enough.
dope.
I don't show it
Keep that
enough,
in
but
the
when I do,
tuck.
yeah, word. You know what I mean? But yeah. So it's more than that vibes. If it's like a church type show, then yeah, you're gonna get all aspects of everything. But more or less, um, energy, man. That's always what you're gonna get from me, no matter what. And you're always gonna get straight up beats and raps. You're never gonna get no fucking vocals behind the beats, hearing me rapping over lyrics, which I fucking can't stand. But you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So you'll always get energy and a great time. Yeah, man. You'll have a great time in general, man. You know what I mean? It's fun within it in general. Yeah, man.
That's dope.
Yeah.
We talked about and I was seeing online I think yesterday either you posted or Sherman posted the remaining, the few
Oh
remaining
yeah, 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 yeah.
Sacre Blue CDs,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
For people who want merch when it drops or whatever's still available from the variety of projects. You got so many projects out. What's the right place for people to go and get merchandise and support the artists?
Yeah. I'm sorry, yo, my fault. You completely froze real quick. Can you just repeat that 1 second? My fault.
Yeah, no problem at all. So, we were talking about the Sacre Blue
Yeah, with the tapes.
CDs, right? That you just showed, I think yesterday, and you've got so many dope projects out, right? There's obviously real famous ones like the MF Blue. There's the new one, the Déjà Blue. But in regards to like if people want to go support, if they want to go cop merch, what's the right place to do that at?
Okay, Bandcamp. You go right to my Bandcamp. That's a lot. Most of the time, that's where I put a lot of my merch, and at a live show. You know, I regardless that I put stuff on Bandcamp, I always try to keep things to a little here and there for like when I do shows because people like personal things. Especially
Yeah.
if they can get an autograph in person.
Yeah.
So yeah. So either live at a show or Bandcamp, you can get it. And if I'm collabing with Spanish Rand, you can get things at SpanishRand.com too,
That's
because
dope.
he puts that in his website. But yeah, straight up, that's where you can get all that. Or DM me, you know what I mean? We might, we might be able to work something out,
Yeah.
you know?
That's
Yeah,
dope, my bro.
yeah,
As we
man.
start to wrap up, I want to make sure that you get a chance to shout out anybody you want to shout out, and any final gems that you want to drop on us.
Um, man, I mean, just shout out the whole church in general, man. My team, shout out Aldo, shout out Tree Mason, shout out my man Spanish Rand. You know what I mean? My man Tom. Yo, we out here killing shit, doing exactly what we need to do. I mean, y'all just got to keep staying tapped into what we're doing. As you can see, the church in itself has so much flavor. You know what I mean? If you're looking for certain kind of vibe or this, we got it all, bro. You know what I mean? Um, yeah, man. I mean, gem wise, I would just say, just again, you keep shining like the diamond you are, bro.
That's
You
dope.
keep doing exactly what you need to do and let them know who you are. And that's just straight up.
That's dope.
You know what I mean?
That's dope. Blue Azul, you're
Or
such a dope artist, my bro. You're creating a legacy. It truly is a pleasure to listen to your discography, to go in deep into not only your audio work, your albums, but your visual and your video work, right? And you keep, people like me who love hip hop and who really appreciate creatives like really curious as to like what's coming next
got you.
because you're working within these parameters that are the Blue Azul, right?
Mm-hmm.
You've created like this universe. So
Mm-hmm.
within that universe, you're doing really cool things.
Thank you, bro. I really appreciate that, man. That's exactly what I strive for, man. I love to be in my own little box. You know what I mean? But this box fits a lot of people. So,
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? More than welcome to join. You know what I mean?
that's
Straight up.
dope. That's dope, my bro. My bro, thank you so much for being on the Cristopolis show. I look forward to maybe running it back in the future and
Absolutely.
for what you got coming up in 2025.
I appreciate you, Chris, man. For real, man. Thank you for having me, and it was an honor, man. Salute, man. For real.
Peace, my bro.
Peace, bro.
Salute.